Finally, see, start. My suggestion is that one of the functions of the commission as envisaged in clause 11 should further be amplified by the addition of a new clause, namely that all such agreements which the Government of India would enter upon must be referred to the statutory commission for its opinion before they are finally accepted, ratified, or confirmed by the Government of India. The reason for this is that it is an expert body. It is a body which will be dealing with such matters on the technical side from time to time. It will have a well-equipped technical personnel at its disposal to avail of and to pronounce such an opinion. It will consist of persons who will be well versed in matters of industry and commerce. This is one of the conditions of appointment for membership. Consequently, my submission is that the government should think and the select committee should think why a particular clause to that effect be not added amongst the normal and ordinary functions of this commission. Without such a clause, I submit it will be greatly hampering and restricting the activities and recommendations of the tariff board. Take the case of the Havana Charter. It is not today within the function of this commission. The government will not be bound to refer this question of Havana Charter before it ratifies the opinion of this commission. It is an essential matter. Suppose the government ratifies that the decision of the Government of India will have a great effect upon the day-to-day working of the Tariff Commission as also upon matters that will come for decision before the Tariff Commission. Now, sir, the Fiscal Commission by its majority have recommended that this Havana Charter may be ratified. Though it is not an occasion for me to enter into the question as to the merits of this proposition, I think it my duty that the view expressed by the majority is entitled to the greatest respect at our hands, but still it is a view which must be accepted with the greatest caution. We are an exceptionally underdeveloped industry country and we have to see what advantages we have to by ratifying the Havana Charter. It presupposes the question of the resumption of all domestic economics under the guidance of an international trade organization like the General Agreement on Tariff and Trades. I very much welcome the budget that has been presented by the Honorable Finance Minister. In doing so, I would like to address myself to one important aspect of budget making. The budget goes 1,000 ways to the root of the prosperity of individuals, to the relation between classes, and to the strength of the government themselves. The present budget, apart from the arithmetic of it, must also solve the problems that are facing the country today, and I am certain that we shall go to right way in solving them. The Congress governments are in charge of the country. We have got a name, an ideal and a program, and we have to reach the ideal. The Congress has stood all these years for the creation of a cooperative commonwealth which was called Ram Rajya by the father of the nation. Now, in this budget, if we can find anything that will go towards that ideal, we shall be very much satisfied. The present budget, I feel, is good in one way, in that it is establishing a new precedent, that is taxing in order to meet the capital requirements of the country. This is a very important feature to which every well-wisher in this country ought to subscribe. The Congress Working Committee sometime last year passed a resolution requesting the Government of India to appoint a National Planning Commission. Its objectives are a just order of society, progressive increase in the standard of living, best utilization of the resources of the country, and regional and national self-sufficiency. The government and the country very well were good enough to respond, and today we have a National Planning Commission which is striving hard to give us a short-term plan and a long-term plan. My honorable friend Dr. Mukherjee was bitterly complaining that there is no short-term program for the government. Anybody who has seen the budgets of the state governments as well as the central government will find that they are not devoid of such plans. Really, there are a number of schemes which have begun to fructify or which are going to fructify in the very near future, and therefore the complaint that everything has been left to starvation is not correct. Then there is no gainsaying the fact that the country is really in a bad economic situation every day. Mr. Vice Chairman, in connection with this controversy, I may mention that I am one of those persons who feel that the present context of conditions in the country is not suitable for the purpose of discussing a constitution amendment bill which should be given necessary thought in a very calm atmosphere, and the democratic norms which are held very high in our mind should be the guiding principles. At the present moment, when the very democratic ideals are being attacked and obstructed from outside, it may perhaps be not possible to consider these matters in a very detached and calm atmosphere. For that purpose, I should have liked if this bill had been postponed or withdrawn from discussion. Sir, under Article 53 of the Constitution, the President is the executive head of the state, and under Article 74 of the Prime Minister is appointed by the President, and the Council of Ministers is appointed on the advice of the Prime Minister. In defining the relationship between the President and the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, the words used are to aid and advise. I have been of the opinion, having read some of the commentaries about the British Constitution, that the position occupied by the President or the British monarch in more or less the same. It has been the opinion expressed by various jurists not only in this country but outside also. If I had not listened to the speeches, I could have, without the least hesitation, said that probably the amendment was uncalled for. But having listened to these two speeches, irrespective of the merits to be considered, there seems to be some controversy or at least some difference of opinion in interpreting a particular statute. It has been even told that once a statute is passed by Parliament or a legislature and it is placed in the hands of the lawyers who are to interrupt it before courts, the intention of the statute, the purpose with which it is passed is completely forgotten, and in relation to interpretation you find something else interrupted and decided by the courts other than what has been sought to be passed by Parliament or a legislature. Being a clever lawyer, he has given an interpretation in relation to the prerogative of the president or the head of the state and the powers that would exist in relation to the president stuff.